I'm Carl Garretts, and I'm talking once again about my experiments in trying to figure out how to teach Express English here at Century College. So I thought through the things I talked about last time and then tried to start to figure some things out. I noticed that I kind of again have a chicken and egg problem that I had when I was on sabbatical and trying to plan things before I came back, that it's hard to do any one thing without doing all the other things, and unless you have those things, you can't do. So I can't figure out how to grade it if I don't know what the assignments are, but I don't know what the assignments are because I don't have the syllabus done, and I don't have the syllabus done because I don't know what it says about grading, and it gets confusing. But what I've tried to do is take some steps. So have kind of took my existing 90 drafts and saw where I need to make changes, especially with the syllabus. Some language needs to change to reflect things, and put in the grading statements that I had come up with from last time, and started then to think about a little more what this grading could flesh out to be. So I'm going to try to talk about where I am with grading, and how that looks right now, even though it's kind of still in flux, but I will try to do that without getting sucked into the temptation that I have to talk just about nothing but grading and all my complex thinking about grading and how it works. I will save all that for my secret evil other project. Excellent. So I think, based on their faculty handbook, that if I were to ask the people at Baltimore, well, if I want to just grade this to give them a grade for how much they've done of the stuff, which is where I ended up, how should I do that? Based on their faculty handbook, it seems like they would say just give them points for each thing and then do percentages. And I'm not going to do that, and for once I'm not resisting that common thing just out of perversity. Perversity may be part of it, but I'm resisting that for some other reasons. I understand why you would want to do that, and for some people that may be a good plan. One big advantage of it is you don't have to plan everything out ahead. You can just see how many points you get and then divide and get your percentage, and that works. So that works if you end up with 400 points or end up with 1,000 points or end up with 10,000 points. You can still do a percentage thing, and you don't have to have decided ahead of time. Whereas, for example, a total points system like I use in my lit classes depends on you having ahead of time a plan of here's how many points are available, so I know that getting to 500 points is achievable for a typical student and getting to 1,000 points is this much harder, or whatever. And since I feel like Express needs to be open-ended, especially this first time, and I need to have the flexibility to say partway through, oh, we're going to do this thing instead of that thing, or even maybe to do some adaptation where different people are doing different things, and okay, you people who are having these problems, you're going to go mark up your paper with tag questions like we talked about, and you people who aren't having that problem, you're going to go work on transitions because that's what we're working on in the Comp 1 class, so you're going to do a different assignment. So I want to have that flexibility, and I can see where a points percentage system could allow that. But here's the trick for me. Students don't get that. In particular, developmental students are almost all also developmental math students, and they don't understand percentages. It's an abstract thing to them that doesn't mean much. And I think they need something more concrete to grab a hold of. Dear Mom and Pop, I know you're watching this because Mom insists on seeing everything I publish in any format, whether it means anything to her or not. I just wanted to say, I still love math. Math is wonderful. I sometimes wish I'd learned more of it and think about maybe I could go back and learn some more and figure out how some of these things work. I don't have anything against math, it's just percentages don't work for these students. Thanks. Love, Carl. I also have kind of a theoretical, philosophical issue with the exoneration of 90, 80, 70 as though they're magical numbers that mean something when I don't think they really do, but details on that for the future secret project. For now, it's enough for me to say that I'm skeptical that doing a percentage system is really the best thing for the students. So So what I wanted to do was instead see if I could work with the ideas that I'd been doing over sabbatical for 90. I toyed for a little while thinking of Express, of using a check plus minus system. I had an old system that I used for a while that I thought about dusting off, where just each thing was given a check, or a check plus or check minus, or 0 if you didn't do it at all. And then I had a system, formula kind of where then you'd take the whole list of grades and cancel some out. So check pluses and check minuses would cancel, and zeros would cancel out 2 checks pluses or 4 checks, and then you see what you end up with after you've canceled everything down to just a couple kinds of marks, and then that would tell you what grade. I think that can work, but it depends on me doing a lot of bookkeeping and me assessing every single thing they do, and that's not what I want to spend my time on. I'm trying to teach in a way that puts most of my time on the things I'm best at and that help them the most. So to make sure I have plenty of time for responding to drafts, talking to people individually, and plenty of time for thinking about where classes are and individuals are and how I can help. And especially with Express English, I need time to just reflect on what's going on and adapt and figure out, okay, then what does that mean for tomorrow's class? So I don't want to be adding a bunch of bookkeeping or micro-assessing to my task list. What I want instead is for them to do a lot of the bookkeeping, and this is partially just me freeing up my time, but it's also partially a theory I kind of developed on sabbatical that for 90 especially, I think that should help if they are the ones writing down whether they're getting the stuff done or not. So the document looks like this. Where can I hold this thing? Kind of see it. So it defines some categories, and then it has a big chunk in the middle with the C level, and then a smaller chunk on the side for the A and B level. And hopefully I've linked you a PDF that you can look at so you can look at the details of it. I'm still having trouble getting it quite work like I want. I've got to probably take it to some students I'm on focus group and see as a technical document how well it's working. And I'm not certain I'm committed to all the categories working exactly the way they are. But my idea is that maybe once a week, maybe it's even every class day that we meet, I give them this and they update it and say, okay, look, today I again did the homework, so I fill in that box, and yesterday we had an online discussion board post and I did that, and I'm volunteering to put my draft up on the board for everybody today, so I get to check that off. And then they can kind of see their progress across those categories and see where they are. I'm hoping that'll make them more aware of the virtue of the slow and steady wins the race approach, of just plugging away and doing everything and making sure you did and checking it off. I even toyed for a little while with just making the course schedule and the grading sheet the same thing and somehow letting them check off on that. I couldn't figure out a good way to do that and have it tell me readily and them readily how to translate that into a letter grade, so I backed off of that, but that's the kind of idea I'm after here, while still giving me a way to encourage them to do some things beyond the minimums. So I'm hopeful that I've done that. I call this the grade scorecard. That term emerged during my sabbatical when I was thinking about my theory that grades are a game, and I wrote one day in my journal, if grades are a game, why aren't they more fun? And I'm not sure I've completely answered that, but I did actually start doing this in hopes that I could make them a little more fun and a little more honest as well about the game nature of it, that you just got to know what the rules are and play by them and get yourself to where you want to get. So that's my attempt with the scorecard. I need to test it a little and get some feedback and probably do some tweaking as I'm still thinking about it. And again, the chicken and the egg thing means that I can't fully finish this until I kind of figure out what the assignments are, but I can't fully figure out what all the assignments are because it's adaptive, and so it's all kind of muddled. But I want to think a little more about what things I want to do for sure and when those might come in the semester, and at least kind of get a tentative schedule laid out of the big picture stuff. I'm not going to, I don't think, still have a detailed day-by-day breakdown of every single thing they're going to do. I think that's just going to have to come on the fly. I might go ahead and maybe lay out the first couple of weeks. I'm not Sure, that's hard to figure out.